So, we're back to... This is another weird thing in the books. It's never really made clear how Saruman makes Uruk-hai.
And it's even worse in the film where Gandalf says, by some foul craft, Saruman has crossed orcs with goblin men. What the fuck does that mean?
That's a line that's been taken right from the books, actually.
Oh,
so, it's never clear. Is he, crossbreeding them? And, how do you cross orcs who seem to all be male with other men? How does that work?
I mean, they clearly are born from that weird womb thing in the ground. So.
Yeah, but is he cloning them? Is he using it's never made clear. And again,
and
it doesn't have to be, I suppose. But
so Uruk-hai are different to Uruks as well, I think, because Sauron has Uruks, and that's the whole part of the. There's basically racial tensions within Sauron's army, which causes the shit outside Fangorn, and in Cirith Ungol is orcs and Uruks. So it's clearly Uruks are already a thing.
So Uruk-hai, apparently, I looked this up as an appendix in my. I've got some lovely, very old from Actually, this is a nice family story. Actually, my father.
So if this is about how you fucking met Billy Boyd as well, I'm gonna come up to Scotland and punch you.
This is not about Billy Boyd. I've got more Billy Boyd stories, but my father, when he and my mother before they were even married, actually, he bought her a copy of Lord of the Rings. As a nice kind of gift that he bought my mum. But regardless, I still have those copies. Those are the copies of Lord of the Rings that I've always read when I revisit the series. But in that, there's a nice appendix where Tolkien or someone does notes on what Uruk-hai actually means. And apparently it's a bastardized word from the Mordorian word for orc folk. So Uruk-hai, roughly translated, means orc folk. Because they are literally a bastardized breed of orcs and goblin men. And they don't know what to call themselves.
Yeah. It's a sort of fascinating thing about, It's one of my favourite lines of the trilogy, but I don't like it in some ways. The looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. Because
how would an orc know what a menu is?
No, even better. The fact that they have a word for menu means they have a concept of a restaurant, which is so good.
The Barad-dûr Bistro.
Exactly.
What? I don't even know what screen I'm on now. What am I controlling?
You're in my boat. I'm paddling it with X.
That was a very quick skip sequence.
But also we're also Ori at the Argonath. Oh, tiny Lego Argonath! That's so good. I fucking love that.
Apparently, these scenes were notoriously difficult to shoot because the boats were so narrow. It was very difficult to keep them afloat.
Yeah, having been in small canoes,
Viggo Mortensen, the greatest human being there has ever been or ever will be, was an expert canoeist, apparently, as it turns out. Because there is
of course he was. Why wouldn't he be? Yeah,
there is nothing that Viggo Mortensen cannot do.
Apparently, I would love a set of Lego Argonath. Sorry, continue.
Apparently, again, not to continue my man crush on Viggo Mortensen, but when most of the principal cast came on the set of Lord of the Rings, they had to get riding lessons because they do a lot of riding horses. Let's face it. But Viggo was already such a good rider that he didn't have to do that. He actually helped train other members of the Fellowship to ride horses.
Well, it's something of that he joined the cast relatively late, and physically late as well. That basically he came to New Zealand 3 or 4 days before his first scene.
There were other more famous actors, I'm pretty sure, who were lined up to play Aragorn, and they all dropped out.
He ended up relatively late in it, and basically there was 3 days between him coming to New Zealand and starting sword fighting lessons and the Weathertop scene being filmed.
No, that's excellent.
I've got the list here, by the way, of stuff that Lord of the Rings won Oscar-wise. So it won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Score, Best Original Song, Best Visual Effects, Art Design, Costume Design, Makeup, Sound Mixing, and Film Editing.
It won all of that.
Yep.
Excellent.
I knew it won a lot.
I'm glad.
And it was a big thing because it was the first, non-Oscar bait film, a fantasy thing, to basically win any Oscars, let alone many.
Fantasy, quote-unquote, was Oscar suicide for decades.
I mean, until very recently, superhero stuff being like that.
Yeah.
That's why I was glad that Black Panther at least won some stuff, if not as much as it perhaps should have done.
We're back. Splitting the screen
I'm in the spooky realm, running from Boromir.
Again, that scene with Frodo and Boromir actually hits home, because, again, two decent...
Why do you recoil? I am no thief.
Two decent actors who are just... That was a very good Yorkshire accent there, Doc.
Yeah, because I'm from
It's almost as if you're from Yorkshire.
I can do it, but...
It's that... Oh, whoa. You're actually fighting Boromir. That's
I actually can't get past him at the moment, so someone's going to have to come up and, distract him or something. I think
I need to get, a torch.
He's blocking me,
Do I have torches in my inventory? I don't, but presumably someone does.
I ask only for the strength to defend my people.
I really like Boromir's arc in these movies. Like, again, he's just a really tragic, Shakespearean sort of character. Like,
yeah, he's somewhere between Shakespeare and kind of like a tragic, like Japanese style character, like some of the like samurai stories. Definitely,
Boromir's not a bad guy. He's just
actually, in fact,
he's just desperate.
He's clearly inspired by what Siegfried or like some of the Norse stuff. Like they all end fairly tragically.
I like that, like the Fellowship already, like is broken. So like I'm playing as the three hunters. Like I am Aragorn, Gimli.
Oh, you can't
and
switch
Legolas.
to any of the hobbits.
No, the hobbits are gone. They're where they are. It's a very poignant scene in the movies like this, where like Merry clocks it. Like he sees Frodo and Pippin. Pippin's like, come and hide.
He's leaving.
He's leaving.
Yeah.
And Merry gets it because Merry's just more perceptive and like he's a bit older and like he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Like,
but then Pippin has that same moment where he's like, I figured this out when he with Treebeard.
Yes.
Which is really good as well.
I cannot overstate how much I love Lord of the Rings in an uncontroversial and just adoring way.
Yeah, I don't know if the viewers have got that yet, but
we
we may as well keep hammering that home.
We just play through Lego Star Wars, right? Like we both love Star Wars, but like not in quite the same way. Like we just unashamedly adore these movies in a way that we don't with Star Wars.
Yeah, all I hope is that we do at least still remain somewhat critical of them. I'm always nervous of straying into fanboy territory where you can't see the negatives in something.
Oh no, there are flaws to these films, but they are beautiful pieces of cinema. They are beautiful pieces of literature.
Yeah, and I think a lot of you need to get Gimli up there because you need to get him in to crack through that thing.
I am on it. Don't worry.
Yep.
I got
because I think a lot of the flaws of the films are actually basically just flaws in the source material about like lack of female characters and stuff like that. I don't like obviously that they expanded Arwen's role, but as a love interest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that she gets to do so. The scene where she's fleeing from the Nazgul, for example,
that's pretty cool.
That is very cool, and I'm glad that that's like again a female character than Glorfindel, this random guy who's in it for 10 minutes and then
who isn't also the daughter of lead singer of Aerosmith, Steve Tyler.
So before you go on, I unashamedly love Aerosmith. They're one of my favorite
I don't mind
bands.
them.
I love Aerosmith. They're one of my all-time favorite bands. So like I don't
want to miss
a thing. But, I mean, I like Liv Tyler. I had a massive crush on Liv Tyler.
We all did around 2002. Yes,
for the longest time. But like an actress of limited range.
She was. What else has she been in? I always get her confused with that one from Transformers.
That's Megan Fox, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know how you confuse those two. But
because they're bloody similar.
Not really.
She was in the fucking Hulk film with Edward Norton, wasn't she?
She was. She plays Betty Ross, a character who
Sorry, go on.
Oh no! Please make.
I was going to say is that film surprisingly good.
I like the Edward Norton Hulk movie.
Yeah, I mean, all I will say is my usual of. So there are a number of actors which I will class as good actors, not because I particularly like their acting or anything like that, but just because they're not in bad films almost ever. And Edward Norton is very rarely in a bad film.
Apparently, he is very difficult to work with, as it turns out. Edward Norton, again, not a great guy, as it turns out.
Yeah,
but again, very talented actor. Like he appears in what is possibly my favorite film of all time, actually, Fight Club. I love Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club's decent. What's the one that isn't The Prestige but is like The Prestige? He's in that. He's decent in it.
I have not seen The Prestige, regrettably. It's on my list for a long time.
I think you really like The Prestige. Potentially, I would say if you've not seen the film, I would actually recommend the book first.
Oh, it's a book based on The Prestige.
It is a book.
Well, that's going to make it harder for me to see the film because I don't need to read the book. But okay, fair enough.
The book is good, and basically the book starts before the film and ends after the film, so it kind of. Even if you just watch the film and then read the book, there is still enough new content in the book and it explains it a bit more. But I think, where do you stand on Christopher Nolan? That will determine how much you like. I
mean, I genuinely think Christopher Nolan is probably one of our finest filmmakers.
Then you'll like The Prestige, yeah.
When I say we, I mean like we as a species. But yeah.
Did you watch the recent one?
Tenet.
Yeah.
No, I'm again pandemic. I don't want to go to the movie.
It's not really worth going into a plague den for, is it?
Yeah, I don't want to go to the movies just now, but I also want to support cinema, so I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, it's a tough one, especially with a lot of things not being. I think you do need to make that jump with Legolas there, by the way.
I don't know if I don't know if I can for reasons like both physical and logistical.
Well, in that case, we might be slightly. I mean, I suppose I can remote into your computer and try and do it for you.
Hey. Okay, so
I feel like that's a late stage thing.
I don't think Legolas can make that. Well, maybe
he can't make that jump. He can make that one to the right.
So hang on. What do you think I should be doing?
Go to the right. All the way to the right, and use those two Legolas jump things. So.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so you jump up, and then you need to jump to that arrow post that you put in.
Right,
but it's a diagonal jump, and these are always awkward. You can double jump as Legolas, remember?
Oh, okay. That's maybe what I'm doing wrong because he can't make it in a single jump.
Just the angle slightly awkward there, and you can't complain now, because you've got a stick. So there you go.
There we go. But I'm also very drunk.
But if
now.
you shove, yeah, I know, right? I know the feeling. You can shove that off the edge to the north, and that'll.
And the death of us all.
No. Oh. Death to all halflings! You will take the ring to Sauron!
You will betray us!
I get it now. So now I need to position this so that I can jump from one to the other. Okay.
Yeah, with the small one.
Again, I really like Boromir's arc in this film. With very limited screen time, Sean Bean does as much as
I
have learned. He's a shit person, but a really gifted actor.
Well, this is a whole thing of art and artist, and again, it's interesting seeing that happen, for example, in real time with J.K. Rowling and stuff like that. Of how can you separate art from artist? But I think especially when people actors are terrible people, it's I can believe that, and that is a problem. But that doesn't have to. I can still enjoy films with. I like The Usual Suspects, despite the fact Kevin Spacey is a bad man. Apparently,
well, so
apparently was not meant to actually convey doubt.
So The Usual Suspects is doubly problematic because Bryan Singer is the director of that movie, and
he's a prick.
Yeah, Bryan Singer is probably.
I was so worried for a moment you were going to tell me that something's wrong with Pete Postlethwaite, and I was like, I'm not ready to hear that. I love that man.
I think I need not speak about Bryan Singer further. I feel very.
Did he do that to the X-Men films or something?
He did. I really, really like Bryan Singer as a director, but he is a terrible human being, an atrocious individual.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I really, really like his work. But I know that when I watch The Usual Suspects and various other Bryan Singer movies, he is presumably off on a yacht somewhere making fuck tons of money off of my appreciation of the art that he has made.
Because I saw this discussion taking place so they're about to release a Harry Potter game. That's weird that that's not working.
Why isn't that working? That should be working.
Oh shit, what the fuck? Oh, I think I have things to do that I...
Should you be doing
things? I just realised I can turn invisible with my elven cloak, apparently. Oh no, that didn't work. Cool. Right. Good. Anyway, you continue doing your thing. But yeah, there's a Harry Potter video game coming out soon, which looks kind of good, but also a lot of people are like, I don't want to support J.K. Rowling at the moment.
Well, that's fair, I guess.
And it's a tough one, but but obviously, yes, J.K. Rowling probably does make money off that, but the amount of people who will be involved in the production of a video game like that, who are not J.K. Rowling.
That's true, and again, The Usual Suspects, for example, it's a brilliant piece of cinema. Yeah. I love The Usual Suspects. I love many
you need to use Legolas there to shoot the thing up, and then...
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep.
I love The Usual Suspects. I love many of the early X-Men movies, even though they're made by a very deeply problematic filmmaker.
Yeah, it's funny because usually the discussion of separating art from artist usually happens 150 years after the artist is dead, not while they're still alive and still creating media.
Yeah,
it's the Richard Wagner thing. They're yes, everyone likes his operas and Wagner's Ring and all that kind of stuff, but Wagner was
all the horrible racist stuff.
Well, Wagner would, for example, if he was ever conducting music composed by Jewish composers, he would wear gloves to distance himself. He was, and everyone's like, oh, he was a product of his time. It's yes, but also he was particularly anti-Semitic for his time. He was horrific. There's a reason why Hitler fucking loved him.
I would say, it wasn't Wagner the composer that the Nazis revived for obvious reasons now, but yeah.
But his work, obviously, his work as a modernization of a lot of Norse stuff, inspired Lord of the Rings, and basically inspired probably almost all modern film music, if not these kind of films, like generally. Like, so one of his huge contributions to music was the idea of, he called it das Leitmotiv, which is the idea that a certain musical theme will be associated with a certain character or concept.
Yes.
And obviously Lord of the Rings does that massively. Like, fucking every character and concept has a theme in it somewhere. And that's a huge contribution, but from a completely terrible person.
Yeah, I mean, we will get around to, like, the inherent racism within Lord of the Rings at some point. But,
how much do we know about what Tolkien was like? I figured out what I was supposed to be doing here, by the way.
Oh, okay, so you did your thing, and now, okay, that's good.
No, you did your thing, and now I'm doing my thing. It might take me a while, because I suspect I was supposed to be doing this concurrently with you.
Oh, great. So, should I be just hanging out?
I'm not sure how much you can do at this point, so yes. I've just got to make my way up to Amon Hen.
Long have I desired to look upon the kings of old. But yeah,
a friend of mine used to have a pair of Argonath bookends. They're great.
I would like one of those.
Yeah, I can believe it. I just don't have enough books for it to be necessarily worthwhile.
Yeah,
Like, I have a bookshelf behind me, and it's got like 1 level of books and then 2 levels of video game boxes, which is kind of on brand for me, I suppose.
There is nothing wrong with that.
But even that has not been added to recently at all, because everything I get is digital nowadays. So.
I think there's something to be said about just having physical media. Again,
well, see, this is the thing. I have just spent 50 quid on a record, like on a vinyl. I don't own any way of playing that, and I already have the album on Spotify or whatever. But
which album is this?
It's fucking video game music, 'cause I'm a sad bastard. It's for anyone who's watching. It's the music from Majora's Mask, reorchestrated by Rosa, and it's so good. And this guy does fantastic like arrangements that really capture like the feel of the game rather than just being direct arrangements of the music. They capture the emotive feel of it. And basically, this is mostly, it's a way of, supporting him, which I really want to do as like an independent artist. I'm aware that my plays on Spotify are probably not hugely helping him, whereas buying a collector's edition of a record will. But also, it's this really nice, like, so the record itself is this like metallic silver and purple like veined vinyl. It looks like just really pretty, and I'm literally just gonna put it on my wall. I have no way of playing it, but I also wouldn't want to. But it does feel weird to buy a record just as an art piece. But
I think that's a perfectly valid strategy, like supporting independent artists, like people who make minority niche interest things. Like
that's how I'm justifying it to myself. Certainly,
which is why viewership of the Infamous Channel, we value your viewership and your patronage. Continue tuning in to the Doctor and the Bard talking about, amongst other things, Wagner.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that we certainly cover a breadth of and a depth of subjects, quite frankly.
Yeah. I concur. Anyway, are we going to do like the inherent racism of Lord of the Rings in this episode, or are we going to save that?
Because, fuck it, do it. Why not? It's 10 to 11. We've had bevs. Let's go for it.
So, for anyone who's actually read Lord of the Rings, like there are some very troubling descriptions of orcs,
like how black is bad.
Yeah, some very very troubling descriptions of orcs in Lord of the Rings. So, like that they have black skin, that they have long ape-like arms. The orcs are like somehow subhuman, but they are always characterized as having like black skin. And when you take that in the context of Tolkien, a man who was like at least born in South Africa
in 1880 or whenever,
yeah, and then you consider that like all of the elves are invariably tall, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, impossibly like fair-skinned.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to be a fucking genius
it's not even really.
You're
not exactly reading between the lines so much as just reading.
Yeah, and again, like Tolkien was wildly resistant to any like philosophical interpretation of his work, and that's fair, but also you can't enjoy Lord of the Rings and not acknowledge this, that maybe there's some racial undertones here, and that's not okay in any way, shape, or form.
See, also the idea, though it's not necessarily racial stuff, but the idea certainly there that East is bad, West is good.
Correct.
Like there's a lot of that. It's simple, but it's he's not hiding it. It's definitely there.
Yeah. Again, J.R.R. Tolkien.
But I say the man allegedly, like, well, by his own admission, True Adventurer, nice.
Woo!
The man hated allegory and didn't like the interpretations. Like, but do you see how Isengard and Saruman are a metaphor for industrial revolution? He's like, what? We don't use that word here.
So, Tolkien, a bizarre character who, like, his books clearly have subtext. His books are clearly influenced by, like, great works of, like, Scandinavian and Norse literature that came before them, but he was willfully against any such interpretation of his work during his own lifetime. It's very strange. Very, very strange. We spoke about this at some length as well. So there was a recent Tolkien biopic where Nicholas Hoult plays Tolkien.
Oh, fucking Beast. Well, young Beast, not Sideshow Bob Beast.
I really like Nicholas Hoult as...
Yeah, he's good in everything I've seen him in. He was great in Mad Max.
What a day! What a lovely day!
I love him. I really love that film. Oh, that's cool.
This is very cool. Resist, Doctor!
Press B to resist!
Keep it secret! Keep it safe!
But yeah, go on about Tolkien thing.
So, like, that movie with, like, so Tolkien within his lifetime was very resistant to the idea that many people put forward that, like, Lord of the Rings is about the First and/or Second World War,
in which he actively took part in the First World War. Certainly, he was in the trenches.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, he was willfully resistant that Lord of the Rings was actually about that kind of warfare.
Yeah.
However, that movie starring Nicholas Hoult, like, makes it out like Lord of the Rings was directly inspired by his experience in the trenches. So, like, literally taking the words of a dead man and then bastardizing them for financial profit.
Yeah,
and that's just... it's so icky.
Like, yeah, like, didn't his... Tolkien's estate did not approve of that film.
Good.
But also Tolkien is dead, and by that point Christopher Tolkien was dead as well, so it's... And also, there's a lot of money involved in those, turns out.
So, back to what's happening. This scene here, where, like, Aragorn, like, almost takes the ring from Frodo. It's a beautiful scene. I love it.
Oh, especially when the ring's talking to him, going, Aragorn, Elessar. And it's basically like, look at what you could fucking have.
Oh,
like,
it would corrupt him in a second, though. I mean, of course, like,
the man can resist, which is something, definitely.
Yeah, again,
that's the thing. It's always interesting seeing the powerful characters, your Aragorns, your Gandalfs, and Galadriels.
Your Boromirs.
Yeah, well, obviously Boromir doesn't quite manage, but a lot of them, like, be like, you realize how much I do want to take this, but also I know this would fuck me up.
Yeah. Again, like...
I would want to take this ring from a desire to do good, but through me, it would wield an evil too great and terrible to imagine. And obviously Galadriel has a whole fucking explosion.
So do you want to do some deep cuts, like, philosophy now?
Yeah,
so
let's go. Let's go in deep.
So, like, there is a Platonic, like, so as in Plato, the Greek philosopher, blah, blah, blah. Pretension! I smell pretension!
Will you, Bard? No, I find that so hard to believe.
All manner of pretentiousness. So, like, there's a Platonic dialogue where there is a challenge called Glaucon's Ring, okay? And you'll see why this is relevant in a second. But Plato,
so this is Platonic literally just been referring to Plato, not specifically, like, non-romantic, like that use of the word Platonic.
But when I say Platonic, I mean, like, literally as written by the philosopher Plato, yeah. But anyway, he has, like, a challenge called Glaucon's Ring, okay? Which, in it, he says, like, if a man possessed a ring that made him invisible, it would invariably corrupt him. That's literally, like, what the morality of it is. So, like, if you could commit crimes with impunity, as in if you could rob and steal...
It's essentially if you can turn God mode on.
Exactly.
You've got cheat codes in GTA.
Yeah, if you can be invisible and rob and steal and, like, get away with it, anybody, no matter how good a person they are, will do those things. As in, you will rob, you will steal, you will plunder, you will do unspeakable things to your fellow man if you're invisible and therefore can get away with it. And again, like, we see that Tolkien absolutely, as someone who was classically educated, would have read Plato and would know about this. The challenge.
Do you want to shoot that bloke?
I will try, but the challenge of Glaucon's ring, like, so the ring that makes you invisible and therefore able to do anything, and how that power will invariably corrupt you is something that is inherent throughout the entirety of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Shot him right in the ass.
Oh, that wasn't Lurtz, that was just a random Uruk.
The Horn of Gondor.
The Horn of Gondor. In the book. It's whoa, what the hell is happening here?
The bromance we all wanted.
And here we go. So Lurtz, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Lurtz was a creation for the film. He does not exist in the books at all.
Yeah, I don't think Fellowship has any with the hobbits now.
Boromir!
Boromir,
fuck yeah, Boromir! Can I blow the Horn of Gondor? I mean, I want to.
You can.
I'm going to a lot.
Oh, sorry. Well, you've stunned me and Pippin is what you've done. And I'm having the shit kicked out of me. Look at what you've done. Oh, they've even got the right little Uruk swords with the little notch on the edge.
The kind of scimitars, I think they're called?
They kind of are. They're that kind of thing, yeah. Oh, it's one of the nice little bits of design. Uruk-hai in the film have no armour on their backs.
Because they will never be shot in the back because they'll always face their enemies.
They'll never run from a fight, yeah. It's nice little things like that that make the armour and stuff of the race is believable. Please don't use that horn because it stuns me and stops me crawling through stuff. Yeah. Right, Lurtz is going to be coming... he was going to be coming down to you and then I crawled to the horn.
I love that.
Did you just bonk someone on the head with the horn?
Boromir is so fucking manly. He can kill a man with a horn. What a gentleman.
Right, I'm shivving Lurtz. Oh, he's got me. He's got me. Oh, and he's spotted me. There we go.
There we go.
You're about to have a bad one.
Oh!
He uses a bow there, not a crossbow. Terrible.
I mean, like, he doesn't have a crossbow. He has a bow that he turns sideways.
Oh, yeah, actually, true. Fair point. I'll shut up now. Right, you need to smash those things.
The Horn of Gondor!
Please don't. Oh.
I'm going to blow it. I'm going to do it.
It's big, it's brassy, and I'm going to blow it. That's an old reference. Who the fuck's going to get that? To an old pot noodle advert from 2006 that was banned for being too lewd.
Was it really? That's disappointing.
Yeah, because it was all about basically so the theme of the advert was, have you got the pot noodle horn? And it's basically like, have you got... What have you... Whoa, where am I? I'm in hell!
Whoa!
Jesus Christ. But yeah, the whole thing was basically like...
you've been stolen, like that Uruk-hai is stealing you.
The whole point of that was basically, have you got a boner for pot noodles? And it's basically this guy's got in his pocket the pot noodle horn, and it's a full-on like horn. Everyone's like, you've got the horn, haven't you? And he's like, yes, I have got the pot noodle horn. It's big, it's brassy, and I'm going to blow it. And it was banned from British television for being too lewd.
So like when I watch this scene back, see the scene where Sean Bean is just taking those arrows to the chest, like it's
on those rakes,
or those like brooms. It's painful to watch. I struggle to watch it back. Like it's just because you know he's going to go down, and like you don't want him to because Boromir is actually surprisingly sympathetic, but goddamn, it's hard to watch.
So this is a complete tangent, kind of. It's relevant to this.
Well, here's a weird thing. So Boromir like has gotten slower since like you stuck with.
Since having 3 fucking arrows in him, really, has he? Yeah. Shocking. I suppose it's good gameplay, I guess. But no, so there's if one were to ever play musically the music from Lord of the Rings, you'll as in play it as an orchestra. The piece called Boromir's Departure, which has the sad stuff, but then also has. Basically, the music when Aragorn is like fighting them up on Amon and stuff like that, it has one of the most bizarre instructions in music that I've ever seen. It just basically gives you a key signature and says, to anyone who isn't strings or solos, it just gives you a key signature and says, for the next 20 bars, improvise in that key signature.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing cool.
Well, normally when you're like, this sounds really obvious, but when you're getting music, normally your music is written for you, rather than basically do what you want within these bounds for the next minute. Like that's unusual in scored orchestral music.
Is that a chicken?
What the fuck?
This is very bizarre. Okay, so I guess children's games. Oh, that okay. Well,
what the fuck?
Somewhat undercutting the poignant like discussion we're having. Oh, Aragorn got square up to Lurtz. Can I tell my a cool Viggo Mortensen story in but a moment?
Sure.
So, if you go back and watch this scene, like there's a wonderful bit where like Lurtz pulls Aragorn's dagger out of his leg and hurls it back at Aragorn.
Yeah.
And there's a wonderful scene where like Aragorn deflects the dagger with his sword, and it makes a lovely like ting noise. So
I'm guessing knowing right. Before you tell the story, I'm going to predict where it goes, and based on everything else I've heard about Viggo Mortensen, I'm going to assume that was real. Someone threw a fucking dagger at him and he deflected it.
So that wasn't a stunt dagger. That was like the stuntman accidentally threw what was a fully weighted, sharpened dagger at Viggo Mortensen's head, and using his fully weighted like Aragorn sword, he deflects it. So, like, see, there's a really real look of terror in Viggo's face because he was about to take a dagger to the eye unless he baseball batted it out of the way.
Yeah, I've definitely
and again, I reiterate, Viggo Mortensen is the finest human being that humanity has ever produced.
I heard before as well, he was the only person in the member of like the main cast who never broke a like stunt sword.
Yep.
Because he always just looked after the weapons as if they were real. as you've stated, yeah. I also like that you also only have one heart left at this point,
Yep,
for
so
obvious reasons.
Boromir has gotten slower. I can't jump. I don't know if... I still have my inventory, so
Please don't use the horn again.
I'm going to use the Horn of Gondor!
Don't do it. It's oh, great. Look, now I'm stuck. And he now fucking picked me up again. Look,
It doesn't seem to work on him, though.
No, it works on me, though, doesn't it?
Oh, I've been picked up. Oh,
Look what you've done.
Oh,
I'm fucking stunned.
Save me! Help me, Aragorn!
You have been
my brother, my captain, my friend, help me!
You have been more than useless this fight. At least just use the fucking shield.
I can't move any faster than this. This is it. Like, hit him with the sword, Boromir. Oh, he smashed me to 1,000 pieces. How are we supposed to fight him?
Right. Try the horn on him now. You might need to stun him. Oh no, you're trapped. Hold on a second. Where's my sword gone? There we go.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking Christ.
So now you want me to use the Horn of Gondor?
But when I'm off him, right. Now use the horn. Use the horn. Do it.
No, too slow. Like, there's nothing I can do. He's just running. Like, what is he doing with me?
We have done some damage to him. We've actually nearly got him. He just keeps grabbing us. Thank you, but I'm stunned now. Try and get him off me, and then I'll hit him with my sword.
I just beat him to death with the Horn of Gondor!
That's oddly poetic.
Oh, yeah! Oh, then that's the end of Sean Bean. The last son of Sheffield. This scene actually hit really home.
Yeah.
Again, when I watched it, like, I was in the verge of tears watching this.
He gets his end redemption arc here.
He does. Like, everyone gets the redemption arc in popular
I would have
fiction.
followed you to the end.
To the very
that's
a different
part.
scene.
Also, I would have followed you. What is it? My captain, my king. What's the first one?
My brother, my captain, my king.
When he calls it our people, it's genuinely is poignant.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good scene, and like again, two really talented actors just doing their thing. And people will cry, for the lords of Gondor have returned.
Yeah. That scene was only in the extended edition as well.
What scene?
Yeah, the one where he describes Minas Tirith. It was like, have you
seen
home?
it? Have you seen it, Aragorn? Have you called home by the Horn of Gondor?
It doesn't
this scene where Sam comes after Frodo breaks my heart every single time. Like I'm a howling 5-year-old every single time that Sam goes under.
Oh, they're not going to show it though.
Of course you are, and I'm coming with you. It's
so good. You can't swim, Sam. Another story there. You know how Sean Astin fucked up his foot there.
Yeah, I mean,
he ran through a massive shard of glass.
I know it, but I'll let you tell a story.
Yeah, so when he's wading into the water there, he just stood in a huge shard of glass that's like the size of a man's fist and had to be just removed from his. And obviously, they're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Oh, achievement unlocked. Let's hunt some orc.
So that was again. This is another theme in the books that never comes across in the films. But Gollum is following them the whole time that they are on the road.
Yeah, you get it from in the film showed that he starts in Moria, and then the extended edition shows him still following them down the river. Yeah. But in the books, it said that he's stalking them through Lorien as well, because Haldir captures him.
Yep.
But then he escapes.
Okay.